Welcome to another episode of the Find a Way podcast. I am your host, Kevin Guidry, here in Find a Way Fitness. And today we have a very special guest. Now, her name is awesome because when we're training and I'm training her, I get to say it all the time. Her name is Catron Horton, but I call her Cat. And you can't just say it like cat, you got to say cat. Cat. I say it like that sometimes. Cat. Let's go, Cat.
Yes.
Welcome to the Find a Way podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So she is also a member of our gym here at Find a Way Fitness, and one of the members that gets after it. And wanted to get who is Kat?
Oh. Who is she? Well, I'm a mom. I'm a mom of two boys. I'm a wife and a work from home mom. So I love my family. I love my friends. Yes. And that's pretty much what drives me. So that's kind of where everything for me builds from is just a love of my people.
The foundation of the family.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
And remind me, because I train a lot of people, how long have I been training you specifically?
About 2.5, almost 3 years.
Yes.
So I had one of my memories pop up just of my very first workout not too long ago. And it was probably actually about 3 years ago. So
that's incredible.
Yeah.
How did you find me? What did you hear about me? I'm always interested to see how people.
Well, so I joined before Find a Way was Find a Way, and I probably, like a lot of folks, I needed something different.
Yeah.
I had tried all the workout from home things. I had bought every equipment, Bomax and all the things, and they collected dust and laundry. And so I had some friends that were doing these workouts, and I felt close enough in personality, and things that drive them were similar to me. And they were talking nonstop about this trainer. It just had this energy, and this just pushes you enough. I was an athlete my whole life, but I had sort of stopped when I became a mom. And I don't want to say I'd lost my way because I was going the way I wanted to go, but from a health standpoint and a fitness standpoint, I was nowhere near where I'd been. So I knew what worked for me in high school, college was sort of that boot camp, but not like I don't need somebody yelling at me and making me feel
military
bad.
Style.
Yeah, but somebody that's really encouraging, at the same time holds me accountable. I need that for all walks of life. I did better in school when a teacher cared about me personally versus I was a big a number in a big little fish in a big pond kind of thing. And so I heard about this trainer and this sort of type of workout, and I was like, I gotta give it a try. And I was terrified. But I was first class. I remember I walked in and you looked right at me. You were like, "You're new." I'm like, how does he know? And you, from literally that first day, you knew my name. Cat would come out the minute from day one, and I was like, "Well, I'm hooked. I'm here." And I remember when Find a Way sort of became its thing. I was in Morocco when things kind of went crazy, and I was like, well, hashtag follow Kevin. Like, where are we going? What are we doing? So it was just your style is exactly what I need, and
that's awesome.
It's obviously, I'm not the only one. So
that's awesome, and you're now a Find a Way founder.
Yes.
I appreciate that for the support. Even with us not even having a gym yet, we were over at the Capitol Sportsplex. Literally just finding a way. I just ordered a whole bunch of equipment because I knew we had to keep that momentum going, because when people got a routine in, you can't veer off it too long. And when the depart she's talking about, leaving a franchise where I used to train to now starting my own gym, it was kind of like a roller coaster ride for all of us, right? Because it kind of changed like that, and I kind of found out who supported me.
Yeah.
And it was so powerful to see, like, it was like my people, like, it was like our...
Well, and that support for you, it felt like a support for me too. I mean, there was already this amazing community that sort of was part of that gym or just rallied around you, really. But what for me, it really showed was that what I needed was what you bring, and that you have hired some amazing other trainers for this gym.
Yes.
And what makes them so special is that they have that same.
Yes.
It's not only just a drive, and you say this all the time. Like, if you believe in the people, it will build itself. Like, it will support itself, and the things. And there's so many motivational speakers and these people that come out and do podcasts and things, and they say all the right things, but they don't always back it up. And I think the coolest thing, and the thing that is just so what pulls everybody in and makes them want to support you and each other, is that everything, it's genuine. Like, you literally live and breathe what you say, and it's undeniable. You can't ignore that.
And I'm happy we kind of started this podcast because I get different perspectives. Like, when you guys come in, you guys' hairs are up, you're sweating, we're getting after it. So it's not like you can just, hey, let's do a podcast. But I get to see and hear different perspectives from different angles, and to segue into the next question. And when you hear the word community, here we call it our Find a Way family, which we are kind of like a tight-knit family. People from the outside looking in call us a cult. If you call a cult of people that want to work out and just get motivated to be a better version of themselves, it is what it is. But we're a family. So when you hear the word community, what is that? What is the first thought, or what comes to mind?
Love.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've been very fortunate in my life. I have an amazing family. We are super close, and that then transitioned. I had phenomenal friends growing up. I went to the Y, and that was a huge community/family for me. And when I graduated college, even when I got married and first had kids, I sort of lost that. I always had my family, and I had my new husband and my kids, but I sort of lost that sort of friendship, community, family element, and I didn't know that I was missing that. And when I moved to Wake Forest,
From where?
Just from Raleigh, all the way, all the way from Raleigh. Well, if you ask my parents, that was like moving to West Virginia. Like Wake Forest is really far. You have to pack snacks. It's a challenge. But I just didn't have that sort of friendship dynamic and I didn't even realize that I was missing it. And so what I love about the Find a Way family is I've not only joined with friends of mine that I already was friends with, but I've developed friendships and enhanced friendships from this, because you can't not like the people here.
That's awesome.
And when I say that love is kind of what I think of, it really is. It's such a supportive group of men and women. I love that this gym incorporates more men into the classes, because they bring such a fun dynamic to the classes, and competitiveness.
Yes,
I'm super competitive.
I've heard that a lot.
And so that's an added drive for me, and I think a lot of other folks. But to see outside of the gym the love and support that our family members offer each other is, it's second to none.
That's powerful. And I think with the past year we've had with 2020, I think if more people showed some love, because I think we've seen some different perspectives, even friends like just posting on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, and you're looking like, oh, I didn't know this about you. And it's like one of my mottos is, when love wins, I think we all win.
100%.
Just coming from a place of love, that's something that it's hard to achieve on a global scale, because I feel like there's differences that people can't accept about other people, and they can't communicate that feeling without going or getting defensive. And I saw a lot of that in the past year. And I don't know if it's because people had more time at home and they had more time I call them keyboard warriors.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, man, let's go back to 2019 for a second. Like, you weren't that person.
Yeah.
So I guess my message from that is, try to lead with love with everything you do. And you'll find that things are not as bad as you think they are. So for you, and now that you're in regards to health and fitness, if you could tell Kat 15 to 20, we're still 10 to 15 years from today, to what you know now about health and fitness, what would you tell her?
So I guess timing-wise is important to me for this question, because coming out of high school, college, I was probably in some of the best shape.
What sport did you play?
Volleyball.
Okay.
Now, to say that doesn't, I played volleyball because it was a 30 by 30 square, because long distance running and I do not get along, never will, I don't think, but.
So you don't like the lap we do?
Well, actually, that's one of my, I've conquered the lap, and I'm pretty proud of that.
Awesome.
But no, I don't like it.
True.
But no, so, coming out of, I wouldn't say coming out of college, but coming out of high school, going into college, I was in good shape. And then I got married, had children, and fitness sort of took a back burner. So I think what I would say to that mom, actually who I'd love to speak to, is the mom that,
you can speak to her right there.
The month before the month before I even started your class, I had done, I'd asked my husband for personal training classes for Christmas. His friends all said that was a terrible idea. You don't give your wife personal training classes a year after she's had a baby. But I wanted it, and I did. I went. I had just nothing stuck. So I would love to talk to that mom. That was a month before signing up for something that seemed really scary. I signed up for the class, and I drove to the parking lot, and I sat in my car for the first class.
Really?
And I was like, let me watch and make sure I can do this. And my hesitation came from this image that I thought I still should be. I was disappointed that I probably couldn't do some of the things I could do back in high school. And I almost talked myself out of it. I almost didn't come.
Really? Wow.
And thankfully I did. Thankfully I walked through those doors, and what I realized was no one else knew where my starting point was, or where my best was, or where I'd ever been at a fitness level. So nobody knew anything about me other than that first day when I walked in. And I walked in, and I remember we were running those daggum speed bumps. And I couldn't do the whole thing. But that first day, you were like, you're new, Kat, hey. And you remembered, and even half walking, half running, thinking like, what have I gotten myself into just for warm-ups? You were cheering me on. This group of women were cheering me on, and I was like, okay, I can do this. So I wish I knew that it was okay to start wherever I was.
That's powerful.
And that you can only go up.
That's
you
powerful.
Can choose to not.
That's powerful.
You're okay. Start where you're at.
Yeah, because as you know, I train a lot of moms. And I think that's great advice for anybody starting off their first day, especially with the new year in 2021, where a lot of people are getting back into the swing of things. And it's okay to have a new year, new me. It doesn't matter where you start, like Kat just said. So don't let anybody get you discouraged to think you can't restart. You can restart as many times as you want. Just make sure you understand there's two options to where you can either find that excuse or you can find a way. And that's exactly what you did. And here we are 3 years later. You look amazing.
Well, thank you. I feel amazing, which is the best. And I love, you mentioned the island lap. It's about a quarter mile, FYI. I think somebody measured that.
Yeah, they did.
But I literally couldn't run a tenth of a mile when I started. I couldn't do a single star sit-up. It was laughable how
the star punches.
Yes,
yeah,
how much I could not do that. There's plenty of other. A pull-up. Even I was using every band in the place to do a pull-up. But it's those are little victories you get, and they're celebrated.
Yes.
I did one star crunch, and I was like,
Let's
did anybody else see that? And somebody else across the way was like, I saw you, Kat. And everybody's like, but you can share those things of
Yes.
look, the ab wheel is the bane of my existence. But one of these days, I'm going to be like Dana, and I'm going to straight roll all the way out and come back, and we're all going to celebrate.
That's amazing.
But I love that you can make something that, to me, the fact that I couldn't run, a tenth of a mile was really embarrassing. But now I can.
That's awesome.
And then I could run a half
little bit
mile.
more.
And then I could run
A little bit more.
a little bit more.
That's powerful.
And it's celebrated, so I love that.
That's so powerful, because I know there's going to be a mom somewhere locally, or even if this reaches somewhere outside of our community,
Yeah.
that sees this and like, wow, I'm in her shoes right now.
I hope so. I truly, I mean, yes, I've heard the things that were a cult or whatever, and fine, you know, call me or us what you will, but as cliche as it might sound, to say that this family and this gym changed my life is not an overstatement. I mean, it's a chance, even when we couldn't be together, even during the quarantine. I mean, I'm an event planner for my job, so like 2020, I pretty much was without a job. That's terrifying and it's scary, and to still be able to connect with this group of people, even virtually, which admittedly I am not a good virtual worker outer at home. I need somebody kind of holding me accountable.
Yeah.
But we still found a way to kind of create that accountability. But yeah, man, if there's anybody that is just needing an outlet, physical or mental, I mean, this is just as much a mental thing for me as it is a physical fitness thing. Yeah, it is. That's my favorite shirt. I wear that some days when like just the world seems to be out of its mind. I'm like, all right, we all need to just get on this board. Everybody needs this shirt, and we need to just go sweat for a minute, and then you just feel better. Even if you don't want to go that morning, you don't ever leave that door thinking like, man, I wish I hadn't come. Yeah. 2 days later, you might be questioning it when you can't walk down the stairs. But after that, no, I hope, I love that you're doing this. I hope it inspires some folks to come.
That's awesome.
To come out.
That's awesome. And to get to this last question means a lot to me, as it would for you as well, because this is where we kind of wrap up the whole find a way aspect of and harness that whole find a way mentality. So for you, you know my story, you know my wife's story, but for you, whenever there was a time in life where it just kind of like smacks you in the face, all odds are against Kat, my family, whatever the scenario was, when was there a time in your life that you had to find a way?
So, well, I've had a few. I would say the biggest, and this is actually a part of my why, and one of the things you said in one of the very first classes I was in was, it's a blessing to be able to move. And I probably, if I really thought about it, could remember the exact day that you said that, because I don't know if I've even shared this with you, but my mom passed away from ALS. So she literally slowly lost the ability to move. And so it truly is a blessing to be able to move. And I know I take that for granted. I know a ton of us take that for granted. And so she was diagnosed with ALS in 2015. She passed away in 2017, so it was very quick. And to see your person, I mean, she was my number one, lose the ability to speak, lose the ability to use her hands, use the ability to then walk. It was the most trying time of my life, for sure. And yet, like when I say she lived those last 2 years like you just wouldn't believe. And so we ran a 5K race together.
Really?
Her in her electric wheelchair.
That's amazing.
It was the Run Like a Mother race with Renee over at Run Tri Sports. And it was, I mean, it was like a highlight of my life to do that. And so, you know, she had a little sign.
Please tell me you have a picture of that.
Oh, we've got a great
Can we post
picture.
that picture? Oh my God.
We've got the best picture, because she had her sign that says, I want to run. And, you know, I like, she posted a blog post. We kept a blog for her, kind of her journey, and it was called Verbs. And so it talked about, like, in the morning she would wake up and she would for a minute forget that, like, her body had totally betrayed her, and she would run through the verbs that she wanted to do that day.
Man.
And it was jump out of bed on both feet, and hug her family, and go for a walk with her grandkid. You know, and it was just these things that we take for granted every single day.
Every day.
And so when you said that day that it's a blessing to be able to move, it like hit me in my core. And it's I use that, like running that daggum lap when I don't think I can do another step. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I can, because there are people that can't, and you know, there may be a day that I can't, but right now I can.
I'm getting chills.
So I
right
should.
now.
I know.
I'm getting chills right now.
I
That's
know.
powerful.
But you know, again, that's one of those other things where it's like I think you get these moments in life where like you get encouragement, like, yeah, this is where you're supposed to be, or this is right. And that was one of those where I was like, okay, he doesn't know that story. He doesn't know that background.
Yeah.
And yet what he said was exactly what I needed to hear that day. And it's been something that I carry with me, and it's been helpful. You know, and I'm sure other people have stories like that too, but it's just, you know, we're so blessed, and we get to come out here, and then we get to move with people that are fun and uplifting and want to support you and outside of the gym and business and life in general.
That's powerful.
What could be
That's
better?
powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh my God. Well, thank you.
That's powerful. And that's one of the things I wanted to share was just pure inspiration. And these are some questions that, especially that last question, she had no idea what I was going to ask her. And that's just off the cuff of sharing some inspiration. Because there's a lot of different stories out there. And I don't get to hear them all, right? I'm just doing my part. I believe this is my sole purpose, is to use my gift through training and getting people healthy and fit. So when I'm saying some of those things, it's sometimes it comes out of my spirit. It's weird. But when I turn that mic on, I just turn into trainer Kevin, motivational Kevin. Some people call me Pastor Kevin, whatever you want to call me. It's crazy that to see on the back end that tying into your story of how you found a way through that trying time in life. And I want to thank you for being on
thanks for
the Find a
inviting
Way
me. This was so
podcast
cool.
and sharing that info. Where could the people find you? Instagram, Facebook? Let us know.
Oh, I mean, I'm old enough that I'm still on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, I think it's Catron143, and then Facebook's just Catron Horton.
Nice. And we'll put that also within the video comments below, so that way you guys can follow her and see how she's doing at Find a Way, so we can hold her accountable.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thanks, Kevin.
For coming on.
I appreciate
That is
it.
another episode with Miss Cat Horton. I'm sorry I had to say it like that, but that's how I say it in class. Miss Catron. Her name is Catron. Thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
on.
Kevin. I appreciate it.
That was awesome.